I listened to one of us argue that this country is likely to be taken to pari, that we are likely to default in debt payments. That is irresponsible statement.
When you listen to when CS John Mbadi speaking, you will think that this is a man that can stand for himself. Bwana John Mbadi, the other day we saw you being dragged here and there by a PA to the president. And now you want to address a man that is one of the most, he is the most competent mind that we have in the National Assembly right now alongside Babu. You are addressing who? Honorable Ndidi Nyoro. Now, these are sentiments that John Mbadi is making in defense of what Ndidi Nyoro exposed yesterday. Remember, Ndidi Nyoro, while speaking yesterday in regards to the budget of the country and the public debt that the country is in, he said that the economy of Kenya is at the verge of collapsing and the country is at a point where it might go to default setting because of the debt that we are having. In the last 2 years that President William Ruto has been in power, Ndidi Nyoro told us until today, Ruto has been borrowing about, I think, about 100 billion every single day. And that is why the public debt that the country has is currently at 11 trillion Kenyan shillings. Now, Mbadi is trying to defend and saying that, Ndidi Nyoro is causing panic and chaos with the sentiments that he made. Bwana Mbadi, you cannot stand there and defend yourself against Farouk Kibet, who slapped you and manhandled you, but you have the guts to defend nonsensical sayings that you're using to defend yourself. They don't even align. Allow me to take you deep into what Ndidi Nyoro explained to us. Ndidi told us, and he explained in details, in breaking down every detail of the amount of money that is borrowed per second, per minute, per hour, per month, per year, in the last 2 years that Ruto has been in power, telling us that if that money was put in the right direction and was pumped back into the economy, then we should be seeing a difference. But now Mbadi comes up in defense that the economy is on the right track. The budget is on the right path. But let me tell you one thing that Mbadi doesn't know. He was put there as the cabinet secretary of treasury to be the scapegoat of the Ruto's regime when things won't work out. Remember, recently we had a scandal where 1.3 trillion Kenyan shillings disappeared from the treasury for the last 7 months since John Mbadi took over. Now, who was the blame put upon? It was not upon the president. It was not upon Raila Amolo Odinga. They were calling out John Mbadi, tell us where the money has gone. Then he comes ahead to say that the money has been used to service public debt. What public debt? I want you to listen to Ndidi Nyoro before I continue, so that you will understand the pain that I have once I speak about these people and how they are being used, and yet they don't realize the card that President William Ruto and other minions are playing at. Here is the clip.
Kenya can act optimally with half of the government we have in terms of its size. We can cut the government into half across everything. Government, if government is a loaf of bread, you can cut it by half. All the resources of government, you can cut it by half, and my grandmother will not notice. What am I trying to say?
Now, once you hear that, you will come into an agreement with me that Ndidi Nyoro knows what he is speaking. I mean, an intellectual knows what he is speaking in comparison to this idiot that, you know, I really wonder what criteria they use to put Mbadi into this position. Yes, Mbadi is not that bad. We should all agree with that. But one thing that these people don't know, you cannot be so gullible at a point that you think President William Ruto has the best interests of you at heart when he placed you as the Cabinet Secretary of Treasury. I mean, of all the things he would have given you, aliona akupatie one of the most key docket in the Republic of Kenya. And we all know the budget that put us into the in chaos in the year 2024 during the Gen Z demonstration. It was a budget ya nini? Ya kuonyesha mahali ambapo tumeafikia as a country. It was a budget that was created by the Treasury, by the Cabinet Secretary of Treasury then, Ndongo. Currently, the same budget is repeated by this docket of the Treasury under John Mbadi. Watu walipiga kelele kwa sababu ya ile budget ilikuwepo last year. Then wakaona for us not to undergo any scrutiny in future. Si Raila Odinga amekuja and he wants us to involve them in government. Let's give Raila Amolo Odinga and the friends this docket, because this docket is what almost plugged this country into total chaos and breakdown in the 2024. Ndio when time comes kukiwa na something else, a replica to what happened in 2024, fingers won't be pointed at us. Fingers will be pointed at the friends of Raila Amolo Odinga and Raila Amolo Odinga himself. John Mbadi will be the one that will take the blame. No, they didn't put John Mbadi there because he is so good at managing an economy or he is so good at doing this and that. They put him there because John Mbadi will be the one to take blame once the economy fails, once this country goes into default. I mean, tutasema ni nani alikuwa cabinet secretary when the GDP of this country ilianguka to a certain level. They will point fingers at John Mbadi. Watasema John Mbadi was the cabinet secretary of treasury. So this all tells you that I mean, John Mbadi should even reason sometimes. Utapigwaje leo, last week ukuwa umeumwa bibare jana, then leo umekuwa mwerevu sana, at now you are the one to tell us how things are supposed to be. I mean, how wrong people like Ndidi Nyoro are when they tell us mambo ambayo unafanya. And when they tell us that the country is being plugged into total chaos. I mean, until when did this man become so ni kutoka lini John Mbadi akawa mwerevu kiasi hiki? How have you become so umekuwa mwerevu haraka sana? You have suddenly become so clever. I want to read to you a publication by one Okiya Omtata the other day after what Ndidi Nyoro said. Okiya said this: when I started this public debt audit, I never imagined how much I would uncover about Kenya's financial system. The grand looting scheme began with the unconstitutional amendment of the Public Finance Management Act in 2014. This amendment passed without Senate involvement in violation of Article 110, gave unchecked powers to open foreign accounts and engage in cross-border loan transactions without proper oversight. Since then, billions have been borrowed through off-budget loans. Loans that never passed through parliament for approval, borrowed unconstitutionally, and not tied to any development projects. As the law demands, these sacred loans bypass scrutiny, accountability, and transparency, leaving Kenyans in the dark about our true debt position, while the burden quietly grows. I have compiled a 22-page public summary of the petition, shared through the link below. This is the expose that is really happening behind the scenes. Which laws have been violated, why we went to court, and why urgent reform is necessary and a matter of national survival. Hmm? I mean, when we speak about people that really means what's best for the republic, you understand it currently that these are the people that knows what is best for the republic. They try to audit this debt without the involvement of the government, because the government has been lying to us for a very long time. I want to hear what you have to say in regards to what Ndidi Nyoro recently said. For now, make sure you subscribe.